Hi guys. How are you guys? Hopefully everything is always in good condition. Before we start this story, I have a little request. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and activate notifications so you don't miss stories full of emotions like this. Who knows, this story can touch your heart as I feel. Come on, keep reading. It was the moment they had both been anticipating, but also dreading. Lily walked down the aisle, heart pounding in her chest. She had seen the wedding photos, but seeing her future husband for the first time in person, nothing could prepare her for that. She looked at him, a stranger, and smiled nervously. Is this real? She thought to herself. Jake, standing at the altar, felt an unusual calm despite the storm brewing inside. What if I'm not what she expects? He wondered. His heart raced, but he couldn't show it. Today was the day his whole life would change, and he was ready to embrace it, or at least he hoped he was. They exchanged vows, not knowing what the future held, but both committing to try, because the experts had matched them. Trust the process, Lily reminded herself, looking into Jake's eyes. Even though the uncertainty lingered, as the days turned into weeks, both Lily and Jake discovered the beauty and the challenges of starting a marriage with a clean slate. There were moments of laughter, awkward silences, and unexpected moments of connection that made them both question what they really knew about love. One evening, as they sat together on the couch, Jake spoke up. You know, he said, I never thought I'd be here, but I'm actually starting to feel something. Maybe this was meant to be. Lily looked at him, her eyes softening. I never imagined a situation like this, but I'm glad it's with you, she replied. The road ahead wasn't easy. They faced doubts, arguments, and those uncomfortable moments of figuring out their differences. But they also experienced those small victories, shared smiles, intimate conversations, and the growing sense of partnership. It wasn't love at first sight in the traditional sense, but something deeper began to bloom between them. In a magnificent studio, the television program Married at First Sight is preparing to start its first episode. The participants are selected based on personality and compatibility by relationship experts. Among the participants, there is a man named Jake and a woman named Mira. Jake is a 30-year-old architect who is calm and reserved. Meanwhile, Mira is a 28-year-old freelance writer who is cheerful and energetic. They have never met before, but they are paired by the expert team because they share values that are considered aligned. When the wedding day arrives, Mira stands nervously in the preparation room. She wears a simple yet elegant white dress. I can't believe I'm actually doing this, she murmurs to her best friend Ronnie. Ronnie, just relax, Mira. I'm sure the man they chose for you is the best. You just need to trust the process. Meanwhile, Jake was tidying up his suit in the next room. It's really crazy, he told his best friend Martin. Martin, but this is the kind of crazy that can change your life, bro. Who knows, maybe he's the person you've been looking for. At the altar, they finally met for the first time. Jake looked nervous, but when he saw Myra's smile, he felt a little calm. Hi, I'm Jake, he said quietly. Mira smiled wider. Hi, I'm Mira. It's nice to finally meet you. The wedding procession took place solemnly. They said each other's wedding vows that had been prepared in advance. Even though they had just met, there was a sense of trust that was slowly growing. After the ceremony was over, they spoke for the first time as husband and wife at the reception table. Mira, so, what made you decide to participate in this event? Jake, I feel like my life is too monotonous, and I want to try something new. What about you? Mira, I want to find someone who is genuinely committed, and it seems to be more interesting than a regular dating app. The first days after the wedding felt awkward. They live in an apartment that has been prepared by the production team. Jake, I used to get up early to jog. Do you mind if I leave every morning? Mira, of course not. Maybe I can come along next time. I also need exercise. Slowly, they began to get to know each other. Mira learns that Jake loves to cook, while Jake learns that Mira enjoys reading poetry and writing short stories. One night, as they had dinner together, Mira read a poem she had written about their first encounter together. Mira, it may sound silly, but I wrote something about us. Jake, I want to hear that. Go ahead. Mira read her poem with emotion. When finished, Jake clapped. It was beautiful, he said sincerely. Conflicts began to emerge in the third week. Mira feels that Jake is too introverted and doesn't talk much about her feelings. Mira, I feel like I'm talking to the wall, Jake. You always keep quiet. Jake, it's not that I don't want to talk, but I need time to get comfortable. They decided to talk to a relationship counselor provided by the production team. Counselors help them understand how to communicate better. In that session, Mira, I just want him to be more open. I want to feel like I really know him. Jake, I'll try to share more. But I also need Mira to give me time. After that session, they began to create a schedule of sharing nights, where they talked about their experiences and feelings throughout the day. One night, Arif finally talks about his past and how he once felt lost after his parents divorced. Mira, I didn't know you were carrying such a big burden. I appreciate you willing to share with me. Their relationship began to grow stronger. They learned to respect each other's differences and find ways to support each other. In the last week, they are given a choice, whether to continue their relationship or divorce. Mira, I know it might not be perfect, but I want to try further. What about you, Jake? Jake smiled. Me too. I want us to stay together and see where this takes us. They decided to stay married. At the end of the episode, they speak to the camera, sharing their hopes for the future. This is a new beginning, and we are ready to go on this journey together, Mira said confidently. The atmosphere of the night was warm, although there was still a bit of awkwardness between them. Mira took out her book and began to read the poem she had written about their first meeting at the altar. Mira, on a strange altar, I took a hesitant step. That warm smile was like a new morning light. Simple words, hi, I'm Jake, opening the door of the heart, even though it is still a little closed. Jake smiled, listening to every word. After Mira finished reading, Jake clapped her hands quietly. Jake, that extraordinary. You really have talent, Mira. I can even feel every emotion you pour out there. Mira blushed. Mira, thank you. I'm not sure if it's too fast, but I want to try to capture our moment. Jake, not too fast. I'm glad you shared this with me. It feels like I'm starting to get to know you better. They continued to have dinner in a more comfortable atmosphere. After a while, it was Jake's turn to open the conversation. Jake, so you like to write poetry. Do you always write about people you've just met? Mira chuckled. Mira, no, it's the first time. Usually I write about the little things that inspire me, like nature or something I witness on the street. But this time I felt like writing about us. Jake smiled at Mira's answer. She begins to feel that Mira is someone who is sincere and full of warmth. Jake, I hope I'm inspiring enough for the next poems. Mira, of course, but you have to give more stories. I need more material to write about. Jake laughed lightly. Jake, okay, it looks like I should start talking more. I'll try. For the sake of your poetry, that night became the starting point for them to open up to each other. Before going to bed, they had a casual conversation in the living room. Mira, I'm curious, what's your biggest dream, Jake? Jake, I want to build something that can be useful to a lot of people. It may be a foundation or a community center. I want my life to have meaning. Mira looked at him in amazement. Mira, that's beautiful. I think you'll be able to do it. You have a big heart. I can feel it. Jake, thank you, Mira. I hope we can support each other for our dreams.